Hey guys, welcome back to No Catchy Name. It's me, Ella. Today I wanted to show you how to do the crochet purl slip stitch. It's a really easy stitch and it turns out really pretty, and you don't have to count numbers for it because you can use it for any amount of stitches. Alright, so let's start. Get your yarn and your hook. In this tutorial I'm using this hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. It's an eye hook, and the yarn that I'm using is Bernat Softy Chunky, so it is a chunky yarn, size 6 right there, and it's called Pumpkin. Anyways, so put your slip stitch onto your hook, and you chain any number you want for your project, no matter what you're making. So you just chain, let's just chain up some. I think that's good. Just some chains. Alright, now when you're doing any kind of slip stitch, unless a pattern specifically tells you to do it tightly, think loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey. Do them loose. Loosen up your tension. Alright, so we're going to go into the first chain here and do just a regular slip stitch, but think loosey-goosey, because if you do it too tight, you're making it hard on yourselves. Pull it through the loop and then pull it through the next loop. I actually have a lot of difficulty doing slip stitches, not gonna lie. Alright, so there's one. I feel like that might be too tight, but we'll figure that out in a minute. Alright, now you go into your next chain. Yarn over and pull it through. Loosey goosey. Pull it through again. I still feel like I'm doing this too tight. I'm not a professional, by the way. Alright. Loosey goosey, loosey goosey. In. These are just regular slip stitches at this point. I think they're called single crochets in UK terms. Loosey goosey. I'm reminding myself of that. Alright. Once you're down your project's beginning chain. Ooh, I feel like that one's tight. Loosey goosey, loosey goosey. Okay. Turn your project. There's no chaining in this. You don't chain one. You just start slip stitching again. On the top, you will see these little V's. This back V is the back loop. The front one is the front loop. I'm going to loosen up a little bit. Go in this first row, you will go into the back loop only of all these. So, the back part of the V. And do a slip stitch, a loose slip stitch. Pull it through. Sometimes I have to like physically lift my loop over, and that's okay. If it helps you get it done, do it. Alright, here's my next little V. Back loop only. Loosey goosey. Yeah, I think it's easier for me to just physically lift it over. Next stitch, back loop only. Loosey goosey. Yeah. Okay. Do that all the way down your chain. Okay, once you're done with all your back loop onlys, turn your project. And this time we're going to be slip stitching into the front loop only. So in your little V's, it'll be this front loop here. Loosen up. The first one's always like the most difficult, I think. Okay. I'm having trouble. Okay, there you go. We got it. Front loop. Remember, think loose tension. Because if you pull it tight, you're just making it harder on yourself later. You should always assume to do slip stitches pretty loose unless a pattern specifically tells you to do a tight one. Sometimes you have to do tight ones for shaping and stuff like that, but whoops, nice one with their buff loops. This stitch might take practice to get your tension right, so you might have to practice it a little bit if you want to use it for a project. Okay, so this is the front and this is the back. Doesn't look like much yet, but you have to do more rows. So I'm going to do that for a few more minutes and build it up so you can see what the fabric will look like. You repeat a row of back loop only and then a row of front loop only, and you do that for as big as you want your project to be. It does give a sort of knit look. It kind of looks like the knit purl stitch, hence the name that it's called purl. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a finicky, like fiddly stitch. I wouldn't want to do this in a blanket. I wouldn't want to do this a lot, but I think in a smaller project, something that's going to be little, or just something that you want to add a bit of texture to, would look great. I still feel like my tension's a little too tight. Alright, now the next row we'll be doing front loop only. The last one kind of weird shaped. I can't even get in there. Yeah, see, I made it hard on myself. Tension is key for this stitch, apparently. Okay, right here you can kind of start seeing the texture. See, that almost looks like a purl stitch in knit. It is a pretty texture. I think it would look good on certain things. And this is the other side. So it has a different texture on both sides, so that's also a handy thing for if you want to use one stitch to make a project look two different ways. I actually really like this. This is actually cute. I could see it bigger and taller would be nice, like a dishcloth or something. It would be pretty. You can see my tension's a little messed up right there, but that's okay. Practice makes progress. So you just keep doing that until you're done with your project. You do a row of back loop only, slip stitching, loose. I have to keep reminding myself loose. And then you do a row of front loop only. And it slowly builds up that texture to look like a purl stitch. And I think it's cute. I will just say, all you gotta do is remember to try to keep your tension loose. That's something I myself struggle with, is because I usually have a pretty tight tension when I crochet anything. So purposely making it loose is a little hard. And this first stitch is usually hardest to get into because it's just right there, you know. So now we go front loop. See, my tension right here was a little too loose. You see how loose that stitch is right there? But that's okay. I'll get better at it. I just have to keep practicing. Don't be too critical on yourself if your project looks a little wonky like mine does, because you can always rip it out and try again. Whoops, I dropped a piece of my yarn there. so that is basically it. You just keep going back and forth, slip stitching, one row in the back loop only, one row in the front loop only, on and on and on and on and on, until your project is the height or width or whatever that you want it to be. Look at there. That is actually a really cute texture. Look at that. Well, would you look at that? Here's the back side. Because this back side looks just like a, like if you did a front loop only, the whole thing, or back loop only. That normal, like, what's that called? Like brimmed effect? I forget what that's called. Rippled or whatever. I can't remember. But this side is cute. It looks like knitting almost. I used to knit, so. Anyways, that's it in a nutshell. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think somebody else will like it, share it. Subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.